2022. Kamusta po kayo? Congratulations on reaching this wonderful day. Your batch is so different from all previous batches. Grabe ang ibang klase ang pinagdaanan ninyo para lang dumating ang araw na ito. More than 2 years of the pandemic. Face masks, face shields, alcohol, Zoom, and online learning. Not to mention the war in Ukraine that's driving the gasoline prices to sky high and everything else in the market. And of course, the recent 2022 presidential elections, an election that is so unlike all previous ones, and one that involved one of your very own, one of our very own, a dearly beloved alumna of your university. Pero dumating din ang araw na ito. And I am sure that all of you, dear graduates, are excited to go out and start your professional or work life. I am sure you are all excited or anxious to look for your own spot under the sun, so to speak, or your own corner in the world where you can practice your profession, apply your talent and skills, express yourself, and live your life fully. As I was thinking of what message to give you today, I decided to share with you my personal journey on how I found my voice, my own spot under the sun. I hope that's okay with you. I have 2 stories to share with you. The first is about personal dreams, success and happiness. The second is about the country of our dreams, our dream Philippines. The first story. 22 years ago, in the year 2000, at age 35, 4 years after I became a lawyer, I seriously thought of immigrating my family to America or Canada. At that time, there was a lot of fear and panic in the country, triggered in large part by the Asian financial crisis that crippled many Asian branches. Around that time, many relatives and friends immigrated to the US and Canada, including my 2 brothers, bringing along their whole families. After I brought my youngest brother to the airport, I was also tempted to leave. But after talking about it for almost 1 year with my wife, we decided to stay. We decided to live our lives in our own country, in the land where God planted us. Still, there were questions that haunted me at the time. What if our country does not progress in 20 years? What if 20 years later, nag-worsen ang sitwasyon natin sa bansa? At yung 20th year na yun, dumating na po noong 2020. Those questions eventually led me to ask myself, what can I do to help our country? To help ensure that there will be a better Philippines for my children and the Filipino people. Upon reflection, I realized that I had always been a writer. I was a writer when I was in high school. I was a writer when I was in college. I became a newspaper columnist. After I became a lawyer, and I became a publisher and an editor-in-chief of a lawyer's magazine. So I told myself, perhaps this is where God wants to use me, as a writer. Perhaps writing is the small talent that God gave me to help the country. So I decided to write a book. I started writing a book in 2004. I put my heart and my soul into it. I rearranged my life. During the day, I was busy working as a lawyer. But during the night, I poured myself into the writing of the book. There were nights that I could not write. There were nights that I was just praying. There were nights that I was just crying, but there were nights that I was writing until the wee hours of dawn. 7 months later, I finished my first book. It was entitled 12 Little Things Every Filipino Can Do to Help Our Country. This book is about small acts of love for our country. Small acts of sacrifices, of discipline, of courage. Small acts of patriotism that each one of us, you and I, wherever we are in our archipelago in the world, can do. It is about how to be a good citizen. It is about how to be a good Filipino. I wrote it with a sincere belief that good citizenship is a key part of the solution that we seek to make our country progress and develop. That every Filipino is part of the answer and part of the problem. I wrote it with a sincere belief that small acts of love for our country is one of the best ways of practicing and living out patriotism every day. I wrote it with a sincere belief that small acts of sacrifices and discipline with so much love can help change our country. And I wrote it with a sincere belief that our Philippines could also become a world-class country if we, the citizens, would learn how to become world-class citizens. To my pleasant surprise, the book became an instant national bestseller. There was no promotion on my part. It just took off like a plane. Sorry for saying that hindi po ako nag-aangat ng pangko, but it is part of the story of the book and the lessons that I wish to share with you today. Pasensya na po kayo. The book became so successful that during the first year of its publication, I received more than 300 speaking invitations. I was a speaker for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. In the next 5 years, I received more than 100 speaking invitations every year. And it was covered by practically almost everyone who was writing a column in the big newspapers in Manila. ABS-CBN published it in all its calendars, in its executive calendar, wall calendar, all its calendars. The book was reprinted 50 times. And because of the book, I was able to build the first chapel in Barangay Pinagintinan in Cabantilan, the place where I was born. And because of the book, I was able to support many poor students as scholars. I was able to help many poor students achieve their dreams of becoming professionals, of becoming teachers, of becoming accountants. I am saying that because I am also a product of scholarship since high school. Perhaps many of you do not know, I come from a family of humble means. My father finished up to high school only. My mother was a public school teacher. But my father loved my mother so much, kaya naging 8 kami. I was second to the youngest. But when I was 14, nag-LQ po ang parents ko. Away sila ng away hanggang po sila ay mag-separate, maghiwalay. So when I was in high school, my parents got separated. And our finances in the family became very difficult. I did not know if I would even be able to study in college. So I looked for scholarships. I am a product of scholarships myself. Because of the book, I was awarded the Good Citizen, Good Filipino Award by the EDSA People Power Commission in 2009. And because of the book, I was personally invited by the late President Noynoy Aquino to run for the Senate in 2010. Again, my apologies in saying all of these things. But it is part of the story that I'm sharing with you. There are really lessons that I want to share with you from that story. First, it is important for you to know yourself deeply. Your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, your passion. I've learned that rewards and success would come to you if you build your life around them. It is in writing that I found my voice, that I found my purpose in life. It is in writing that I found my own kind of success. It is in writing. It is my books that open many doors of opportunities for me. My latest book, which I published 2 years ago, was also the reason why I was eventually included in the senatorial lineup of VP Lenny in the Tropa. The second lesson I would like to share with you is that it is important that you love what you do, that you are passionate about what you do. It is there that you will excel and succeed. If you would study the lives of successful people, you would discover one thing, that they love what they do. And the third reason is this, third lesson is this, I found my commitment and happiness because I love what I do. I learned that if you love what you do, commitment and happiness will come to you. But the world today is more complex than our world when I graduated from law school in 1996. Your generation today faces much more challenges than our own back then. But I am sure that the University of Nueva Caceres, being the first university in Bicol and as one of the country's premier institutions for higher learning, has adequately prepared you for life outside the walls of this school. Non scule sed vitae, your motto. The values in the training you receive from the university would certainly guide and help you as you navigate your way to your dreams. I hope, dear graduates, that you will strive very hard to excel and become the best in your field, become the best in your work, be the best nurse, be the best teacher, be the best accountant, be the best professional in your field. Shine and show to the world how good the Filipino is. Our country is hungry for greatness, for recognition. Let's build the Filipino image and the Filipino brand, the Filipino name, with our personal success stories. One story at a time. Your story and my story. The second story that I want to share with you today is about the Filipino, about us as a people, and about our country, Philippines. 3 days ago, there was a disturbing news article that came out. It was about a study on the emotional abuse that Filipino domestic workers in Singapore suffer from their Singaporean employers. The study said that many Singaporean employers, when they get angry, they would tell their Filipino house helps that the Philippines is like a garbage, like a trash. It was in the news. A few years ago, there was also a video that went viral about a white New Zealander patient who shouted at a Filipina in a street in New Zealand, shouted with the words, "You Filipinos are trash. Go back to your country." I am sorry to bring this up with you, but I don't think I still have another opportunity to talk to you this way. As perhaps all of you know, because of the many problems in our country, some peoples in other countries look down on us as a people and on our country, Philippines. Let us face this problem head on. As you step out of your school enjoying the world outside, you may encounter similar incidents like this. Even here in our country, I encountered them in 3 occasions involving 3 different foreigners, in 2 occasions abroad. My dear graduates, I'd like you to believe this. I'd like you to believe this fundamental truth. Our country may be poor and underdeveloped, but the Filipino is not a second-class person or human being to anyone in this world. not to the Singaporeans, not to the Koreans, not to the Japanese, Chinese, or New Zealanders, not to anyone in this world. We are as talented and as good as they are, if not even better. I hope you will believe that. Many of our politicians and government leaders are maybe corrupt and greedy, but the ordinary Filipino is decent and honest, and a good human being. In fact, I believe that the Filipino is one of the most wonderful human beings in the world. For the Filipino is one of the kindest persons on earth. For the Filipino is one of the most caring, one of the most helpful, and one of the most compassionate human beings in the globe. Ang puso po ng Pilipino ay punong-puno ng malasakit at pagmamahal sa kapwa. The heart, a Filipino heart, is one of the biggest among humankind. I believe in that. And because of the love and kindness that the Filipino brings to the world, either as domestic helper, or caregiver, or nurses, or OFWs, I believe that the Filipino is one of the best hopes of humanity to build a better world for all humankind. So let no one in the world tell you that you are a less human being than anyone. But how do we change the way some countries view us and treat us? It will change if we can transform our country's situation for the better. It is true, as you can see for yourself, we have so many problems in our country. Poverty, unemployment, corruption, criminality, the quality of our political leaders. These are just some of the problems that make us look bad in the eyes of the world. But I believe that these problems are not insurmountable. 60 years ago, South Korea was a very poor country. 90% of its people were extremely poor. It was even called the impossible country by many foreign writers. 60 years ago, Singapore was also a poor and backward country. So was China. 60 years ago, our Philippines was a much better country than Singapore, South Korea, and China. Pero tingnan niyo po sila ngayon. Kung kinaya nila, dapat po kayanin din natin mga Pilipino. Kung nahanap nila ang solusyon, dapat hanapin din po natin ang solusyon. I believe that as a people, we have all the skills and the talents that we need to succeed as a country. We have all the essentials we need to succeed as a nation. Kaya ng Pilipino, kaya ng Pilipinas. But for our country to transform and succeed, it needs radical love, not only from our leaders, but from each one of us, the people, the citizens. During the last election, while campaigning, I saw that there was so much talent and passion and patriotism in your generation. I believe that your generation would play a crucial and pivotal role in transforming our country. So while you pursue your personal dreams, please get involved also in building a better Philippines. Be a good Filipino. Be a good citizen. Fall in line if there is a line. Follow traffic rules. Always ask for an OR, official receipt. It prevents the businesses from cheating on their taxes. Buy local, buy Filipino. It builds our country. Speak positively of the Filipino and our country in front of others, especially foreigners. The words that we use have power. And speak out against disinformation and lies. Speak out against injustice. And lend your voice to calls for the needed radical reforms in our government. And during elections, get involved. Support and vote for the best candidates. Our country needs our radical love. You can show your radical love for our country through small acts of sacrifice, of discipline, through small acts of courage. Radical love can be expressed in kindness, in compassion, in honesty, honesty, and integrity, radical love can be expressed through fairness, through justice. When you act fairly, when you act justly, that's a radical love for our country. When you speak out against lies and against injustice, that's a radical love for our country. These are just some of the small acts of patriotism or small acts of radical love that you can do for our country. These small acts of love for our country, if performed by millions of Filipinos as a form of habit, could help a lot in making our Philippines a better country. Please remember, you now belong to the small percentage of 23% of our population who have college degrees. Yes po, only 23% of our population have college degrees. Only 26 million Filipinos have college degrees. Ang ibig sabihin po, 77% of our population, or almost 80 million of Filipinos, have no college degrees. So I hope that you will dream big, not only for yourself and your family, but also for those who have so much less in life. I hope you will also include in your dreams the dreams of those who are too poor and too weak to fight for their own dreams. Please remember, you are part of the answer to many questions in our life. Together, let us build our dream Philippines, a country that seeks prosperity for all and not only for a few. A nation where no one is left behind in poverty, where every family lives in comfort and in dignity, even if not prosperity. A country where any child may reach the highest of his or her dreams and potential. A country that would truly make the Filipino great and respected in the eyes of the world. I am convinced that your generation possesses that great love for our country. I am convinced that your generation will bring our country forward to the path of our great Philippines. I have so much faith in you. Let me end my speech with 3 short wishes. First, I wish that you would aspire for the best, the highest, and the most wonderful for yourself, because that's what God wants for you as His child. Second, I wish you all the success in the world, because your success is part of the success that we need in our country. And as you aspire for success and greatness, I wish that you would always carry with you the Filipino and our Philippines. Finally, I pray that God will grant all your dreams. To all those who voted for me and through mga last elections, maraming salamat. God bless all of you. Congratulations. Happy graduation.
Presentation of the Flag of Appreciation. This Flag of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Atty. Alexander L. Lacson, best-selling author of Patriotic Book, in grateful acknowledgement of his distinguished and invaluable service as commencement speaker during the 74th commencement exercises, thereby contributing immeasurably to the prestige and success of the occasion. Given this 25th day of June 2022 at the University of Nueva, Caceres, Naga City, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Faye Lea Patria M. Lauraya, University President.